I'm perfect. I'm trying to I'm using my hotspot. I've been having some Wi-Fi issues at my apartment, but hopefully it works.
You sound good. Sound good. Looks good.
Awesome. What's up, fellas? How are you guys?
Good.
How you guys doing?
Good.
I've heard a ton about you guys. I've read up on you guys, and I mean the record and everything shows. So you guys have been doing really well, and I'm proud of you guys. So it's my honor to get to know you guys, and hopefully shed some light and some positivity and be there for you guys. But I'm eager to get to know you guys. So this is awesome.
So do you do these types of Zooms with other players, or we don't really have a format. I mean, kids got
Right.
tons of questions, but if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and your going from their age, which is 13, all the way up into your progress in the major leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, first and foremost, the Nicky number ones. I'm Nicky Lopez, obviously, play for the Kansas City Royals. But no, my biggest thing was I wanted to reach out and get to know some kids around the area. Hey Betty, I think I'm getting an echo from your thing. Betty. Okay. But I just wanted to reach out and shed some light, and I've had a couple Zoom meetings. One with the Challenger program at the YMCA. I also had a couple Zoom meetings with kids from the Children's Hospital. Kind of just bringing everything together. Right now, obviously, with the circumstances in 2020, with the coronavirus, we're limited to just doing Zoom calls. So hopefully next year, you guys can join me at Kauffman Stadium, and we can, get to know each other in person. But this is the best we can do for right now. But when I was in your guys' shoes at 13, I'm from Chicago, Illinois, actually a suburb west of it called Naperville. I was just enjoying myself. I was playing multiple doubleheaders a day. I have to give all the credit to my parents. They drove me around, and they just allowed me to play the game I love, like you guys are. You guys are playing. We get to play baseball, which is a great time, and and I'm still having fun, even though I'm in the big leagues, and that's what it's all about. It's a game, so don't ever lose sight of that. Always have fun. But yeah, like I went to Creighton University. I don't know if you guys know, but do you guys know Doug McDermott? Any of you guys know who Doug McDermott is?
No.
Basketball player. He played there. That's one of the the more famous guys. Bob Gibson went there as well, and but I went to Creighton University, and then I was fortunate enough after my junior year of college, I got drafted by the Kansas City Royals, and now I get to call Kansas City home, and I love it. I love it there. Love everything about Kansas City. Love the food. Love the people. Love the fans, and I love my teammates too. So.
How long were you in the organization before you actually started in the major leagues? How long were you in the minors?
Yes, I got drafted 2016, so it's been actually a pretty fast track up to the big leagues. I made my debut in 2019, so I was only in the minor leagues for 2.5, 3 years. I started off in rookie ball, which was in North Carolina, and then I went. I was fortunate enough to skip low A, went straight to high A, which was in Wilmington, Delaware. And then after that, I went to double A, which was in Northwest Arkansas. And then after double A, I went to triple A, which was in Omaha, Nebraska. And then now I'm in Kansas City. So the minor leagues, you jump around quite a bit. The minor league grind, everyone calls it a grind. It is a grind, but you have to look at, the positive things. We get to play baseball. And then the light at the end of the tunnel is pretty bright if you can get to the big leagues, and then it makes it all worth it.
How old were you when you decided that baseball was really your thing and you were going to go full throttle and you really thought you had a chance at the majors?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I was just playing. Playing sports. I wanted to play every single sport. football, basketball, baseball. When I was in high school, I actually played, right around your guys' age, actually. I was just playing strictly baseball and basketball. And that was something that, college coaches really liked. That was something that, the Royals like too, is that, I'm a multi-sport athlete, was able to play multiple sports, and just competing. So I was always just trying to stay active. But when did I think that I was going to be a big leaguer? I always had the dream of being a big leaguer, which is something that, a lot of people when they're kids, they think that, I want to be, either a doctor, nurse, astronaut, whatever that is. But I always wanted to be a professional baseball player. So if you have dreams, keep pushing to achieve it. I was never the biggest kid. I'm still not. I'm always, the small kid kind of getting overlooked. And, I love it that way because you get a little chip on your shoulder and you prove some people wrong. So going from a guy who was basically a nobody from Naperville to being able to play in the big leagues is something that I take a lot of pride in, and something that I can always hang my hat on. So it's been very special, and but I have a lot of people to thank.
So you mentioned being small. What are some of the things that you did? That chip on your shoulder. What are some of the things that you did extra, kind of compensate and get that attention that you needed?
Right. Yeah. I've always had the thing about it is that baseball. We all play baseball. Baseball is a great sport to you don't have to be really big to play baseball, which is good. But I've always had a chip on my shoulder. I always thought I was the best on the field. Kind of, people call it cocky, but I was very confident throughout my years. I was always very confident, always believed in myself. I always had a big heart. Always thought that I was the best on the field and best at my position. No one can out hustle me. No one can out compete me. And it was just a confidence thing with me. So if you're not physically gifted, if you're not the biggest guy in the field, why not carry yourself like you're 6'6" and the biggest guy in the field? You know what I mean? So that's something I try to do. I carried myself in a great way, and it has worked, and I still do. Whenever I step on the field, I always carry myself with great pride, and always hustling, always trying to be a good role model.
I guess the question is, did you always play second base? And if not, how comfortable were you with changing positions as you did what you needed to do to stay on the team?
Yeah, the most important thing that I've actually learned when I was coming up through high school and through college was actually when I was younger, I always played shortstop, and then I played a little bit of outfield. But then when I got to college, my freshman year of college, I played third base. So I was bouncing around a lot, and it is always good to be able to play a lot of positions, because then they could put you anywhere. I mean, you guys know Whit Merrifield, right? He plays basically every position on the diamond, and it's very valuable to our team, and he's the best in the league that does it. So, but being able to play every position is huge. But I was always a shortstop, and then we have a pretty good shortstop on our team named Alberto Mondesi. So I was more than willing to move over to second base because he's pretty gifted and very special. So and then I moved over to second base. I started playing second base a little bit in Double A, and then a lot of it in Triple A because they were prepping me to go up. And when I got up, I played majority of my time at second base.
How do you balance working on your glove versus working on your bat? How do you decide how do you break your day up?
Yeah. So that's a big thing. It's very structured with the Royals. They do a very good job of structuring practice. We do a lot of individual defense. We do a lot of defensive work, and then there's a certain time where we hit. Defense is my bread and butter. I really do enjoy playing defense. I take defense very seriously. I hate making errors. I hate making mistakes. And then I think that being defensive oriented, it helps your pitcher out. It helps your team out too. So saving runs and doing all the small stuff, your team really benefits from. But yeah, and then obviously the hitting part. Hitting this off season, I've been very focused on the hitting aspect of the game. Obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement, and I'm just a young pup in the big leagues right now. But I'm improving, and I'm trying to get better each and every day, and help my team win. So you got to find time for both. I've always been very interested and very defensive minded. But then obviously this offseason I've been very offensive minded and trying to get better.
Well, when you do make errors or you strike out and you wanted to get a hit, how do you manage that in your mind and keep your head strong and be able to push through and still perform on the field?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or what are things that you would recommend for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more of, I try to stay positive a lot. Obviously, I'm my biggest critic. I'm very hard on myself, which can be a positive and a negative, because I think it really got me to where I am today, being very hard on myself and a big critic. But sometimes it's good to just throw it away and onto the next play, especially in defense, because the ball will always find you. There's a saying, the ball's going to find you. So if you make an error, that next ball, just expect it's going to come to you, and actually want it to come to you and make that play, just to get it out of the way. And the one thing that I can tell you is, you strike out, you make an error, hold your shoulders high, keep your head up, because baseball is a game of failure. Baseball is, it's not easy, but you guys are, your records show that you guys are pretty good. And you guys got to carry yourself that you are good. And that's what I try to do. Whether I strike out or whether I make an error, I'm here for a reason, and I'm going to make the next play, and I'm going to put the ball in play and have a good at bat that next time up. So just trying to be positive, trying to it's not a bad thing to reflect on it for a second or two, but you can't hang your head on it, because it's on to the next play, and it's trying to better your team and do well for them. So
this is probably my last question. This is the coach, and then turn it over to the kids. But watching you and Mondesi play and seeing, you guys add a lot of style and swag to the game, where baseball is typically, a very conservative sport. How were you able to do that, coming up the ranks, the longer hair, or, just how you wear your uniform? How do you manage that with your performance as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We like to play with a little bit of swagger. It's good to play with a little bit of swagger, a little bit of spice. Obviously, coming through the ranks, with the hair and with the facial hair and all this stuff, the Royals actually do a very good job of keeping everyone very clean and very organized. But when you get to the big leagues, obviously you're playing with a very the most exciting players in the world. And you try to have a lot of fun, because there's kids watching you. And I think what I tell everyone is that baseball is a game. A lot of people, they get in trouble with thinking baseball is a job, or baseball is more than just a game. Baseball is a game, and you should have fun playing baseball. And that's what we try to do. We try to play baseball with a lot of energy, a lot of fun, and give the fans and give your personal fans something to look at and kind of emulate their game after. Obviously, there's parts of the game where you be respectful, respect the 90, hustle hard, play the game the right way. But why not have fun doing it when you're just playing a game? So that's kind of what I look forward to, and each and every day, and try to play with a smile on my face.
What advice do you have to get noticed in high school? How would you get noticed in high school by scouts?
Yeah, no, great question. How old are you?
15.
15. Yeah, so you're close to getting into that stage where there's going to be a lot of people calling you. The one thing that I didn't do when I was in high school that I do kind of wish is send videos, send yourself hitting BP or taking ground balls or throwing the ball across the diamond or on the mound. I was kind of under the radar in high school. I was lucky enough to go to a couple showcases or tournaments where there were scouts there. So if you guys can get to tournaments where there is scouts, there's people watching you. All it takes is one person to see you, and then the word gets out. So, but obviously with these different times right now, being able to send video to people is also huge. And getting on the phone, talking to them and stuff like that, if you can. But I think video with all this technology that we have nowadays, being able to send video of yourself is something that will get you noticed, for sure.
How many hours do you practice a day?
So right now, off season is pretty. We ended in September. Obviously, next year we're thinking we're going to be ending in October, hopefully late October. But as my schedule right now, you'd wake up, eat some breakfast. I usually go and hit around like 1:00, but if I can get a lift in earlier, do that or lift afterwards. But I have a very strenuous, I've been hitting pretty well, or pretty often, I should say. But when the season gets going, we have, early mornings where we get to the field around like 8, and then, or 7, and then we start practice around like 8:30 or 9. And then practice goes from 8:30 or 9 to, if we have a game that day, in spring training, it ends around like 5. So we're practicing a while. But that's one way to get better, is just keep at it, keep practicing, keep working on your craft.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So earlier you were talking about how you play Triple A.
Yes.
So I want to ask, what is the biggest difference in your opinion between Major League and Triple A, whether that be on the field or off the field?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of things different off the field. Obviously, when you're in the big leagues, the big league lifestyle is a little bit different. Minor league lifestyle is a lot different. A lot of smaller towns that you go to, a lot of travel. The travel is not that easy. It's a lot of bus trips. Sometimes we were on a bus trip for 14 hours, which was very tough. But travel in the big leagues is much easier. We hop on our plane or we have a private plane for only the team and the media and stuff like that. And we fly that day or that night, getting there that night, and be able to like rest, which is something very, very nice and very beneficial. But as far as like on the field, the biggest thing is everyone in the big leagues, it's the best players in the world, and they're there for a reason. There's no one that's up there that shouldn't be up there, and everyone's good. All the pitchers have a great plan on you, and they know how to get you out, so you have to make the adjustments to hit those pitches. And but like I said, every single day there's no easy days, and you just have to prepare and try your best and compete every single day. Great question.
Hey, I have a question. How did the game change from high school to college to MLB?
Yeah, great question. So from high school to college was a little bit of a jump. So I was actually fortunate enough to play some good competition when I was in high school before I got to college. So it kind of helped me smooth out that transition. But the thing about it was that when you're in high school, you're kind of playing around your same age group. And then when you get to college, you're playing, the freshmen obviously to seniors. So you're playing a big jump there. And then I think the biggest jump from college to professionally, it was that you're playing against people all around the world now. And, it was very regionalized. When you're in college, you're playing from guys around the United States, but then now you're playing with guys against, from Japan, from Korea, from, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Dominican. And you got people that are throwing pretty hard, and that you're not really expecting it. So you have to make those proper adjustments when you get to the professional level that you're not really used to. But obviously baseball is a game of adjustments. So if you're able to make those, that's how you survive in this game. And I was fortunate enough to be able to, and I'm still trying to make adjustments now that I'm in the big leagues. So, but I know I will. So great question though. I'm excited to meet you guys. Hopefully 2021 will be a little different. You guys can come and join me at Kauffman. We can get you on the field and, and enjoy some time, and I'll get to know you guys in person. But if you guys have any other questions, like I can sit here all day and answer questions. This is a lot of fun for me.
When you were in high school, how did you manage the social life of just hanging out with your friends, chasing girls, playing video games, and then actually, getting down to your craft in baseball?
Yeah, absolutely. I was fortunate enough. My parents kept me out of trouble. I have two older brothers, so they kept me out of trouble too. Kept me on the straight and narrow. But I was obsessed with just playing sports. I was obsessed with just going outside and playing. Even if I didn't have anyone to play with, I was throwing a ball to myself, throwing it off the wall. Going to hit into a net. So I was obsessed with that. I was obsessed with my craft. I was obsessed with proving people wrong, and I was obsessed with just getting better. And I think that was the biggest thing that kept me out of trouble, was doing that. And obviously there's times right now I still play a lot of video games. That's something that I'm very interested in, something that it's something that relieves a lot of stress for me, and stuff that keeps my mind off of baseball. The one biggest thing that with baseball is that I like to keep it at the field. I like to keep my thoughts at the field, and when I get home, that's just my time to not really reflect on it. I will reflect on it after the game. I'll sit there, but once I leave the stadium, I like to de-stress with video games, with hanging out with friends, with going to dinner. But that's something that you guys have to do, is just you have to organize your schedule where, all right, I have this time, this window where I'm going to focus on baseball, and I'm going to kill it. I'm going to work hard, get better. And then, obviously have some time for your family, have some time for your friends, and have some time. If you guys play video games, if you play basketball, whatever that may be, make some time for that too. That's always
What
good.
video games you playing?
I'm a big Call of Duty. I was very into Fortnite, but now I just got the new Madden. And then I'm trying to get into golf. Do any of you guys golf? Yeah, it's hard. So I'm trying to get into golf. But I did get the new Madden. I'm trying to locate a PS5 if I can, but obviously those are going fast. But I do play a lot of video games. It's something that I'm very interested in.
What about like when you're in high school and you got your guys, your team that you play with, and those guys you think you probably play with and be friends with forever? When that separation starts to happen, where okay, I play a little bit harder, I love the game a little bit more. How did you manage that growing up?
Yeah, that was actually a big thing too. I was fortunate enough to have a group of friends in high school who didn't really pressure me, didn't really, they understood who I was, understood what I am fighting for, and it was kind of understood like what I stood for, and they were all for it. So just surrounding yourself with positive people, surrounding yourself with people who have the same mindset as you and the same goals. And if they're not into sports, if they're not into the same dreams as you, find people who support you along the way. Having a great support staff in this game, and having a great support staff and just in life in general, to be able to go to people when you need it the most, is something that is huge. So I'm fortunate enough to still have some friends from high school, friends from college who aren't playing sports anymore, who aren't playing baseball anymore, but they support me along the way. So kind of being able to separate yourself and know that there's some toxic people out there who are trying to drag you down, who don't see eye to eye with you, or they don't see your aspiration. They don't really believe in your aspirations. Those are the guys you have to weed out. But just surround yourself with positive people, surround yourself with people who who believe in you, who trust you, and who want to see you succeed. That's the biggest thing.
I got a question for Isaac. Isaac,
Yes.
you
Yes.
think you could get him in Madden or what?
Yes. I can,
You got me in Madden, Isaac?
most definitely.
You can't be the Chiefs though. That's a cheat code. You can't be the Chiefs.
All right. I actually have one more question for you. What is your favorite pitch to hit?
Favorite pitch to hit?
Yes.
A fastball right down the middle. A fastball. That's the biggest thing that I've noticed as you're going up the ranks from rookie ball all the way to the big leagues is, fastballs are hard to come by. Fastballs, they don't throw many fastballs. There's a lot of people who throw a lot of junk. But when you do get a fastball, you got to hit it. You got to be ready to hit it. Always be ready for the fastball. A lot of the fastballs in the big leagues, they don't go straight. They're two-seam fastballs, they're cutters, they're sinkers. But that's my favorite pitch is a fastball right down the middle or a hanging changeup. The ones that they don't locate properly and it just floats right down the middle. And if you're ready for it, if you're on time, being able to hit those are always fun.
I got a question.
Yep.
Like,
Malik, is your name Malik?
yeah, my name's Malik.
How you doing, Malik?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Was it boring like not playing like with fans in the
If I, it was boring. It was more boring with I enjoyed playing baseball. Obviously, that wasn't the boring aspect. The boring aspect was that there was no fans there to cheer you on. We had automated fans that they played over the loudspeakers, which was pretty tough. It was just like, okay, like this isn't how baseball should be played. Baseball should be played with being able to have fans there and being able to entertain them and if you score, obviously the loud cheers and people rooting for you. It was very different. So that's something that we had to get used to, and hopefully we can in 2021 we can start having some fans at the games. But it was very difficult to get used to, and something that we hope we don't have to do ever again.
Is there any like specific music that you listen to before the games, like your favorite?
Yeah, so I personally like rap, hip hop. One of my favorite artists actually right now is Post Malone. I don't know if you guys like Post Malone, but I like Post Malone. And then I'm a big EDM guy, so like electric dance music, some dubstep, whatever you can call it. I like some stuff that gets me going, something I could bob my head to. But I like all music. Country doesn't really fire me up before a game. We have some teammates in our locker room that play some country before games, but which is all right. Baseball and country kind of go hand in hand. But I'm more of a hip hop, rap kind of guy. You guys like music?
Yes.
Who's your guys' favorite?
My favorite right now is Polo G.
Polo G?
Mm-hmm.
I like Polo G.
I got a
All
question.
right, I got a question.
Oh, who's
You can go.
Go ahead,
All right,
Quentin.
real quick. All right, yeah, Quincy, you can go.
All right. I was gonna ask you, did you have like a backup plan for if baseball didn't work when you was coming up?
I like to say I did, but I wasn't going to stop until I got to professional baseball, until I got to the big leagues. I was so dream oriented and goal oriented that I didn't want to. I didn't see myself not playing baseball. I didn't see myself not playing a sport. I went to Creighton University. Not sounds bad, but I went to Creighton University not for education. I was there to play baseball. But I along the way, I was very fortunate enough to get a great education as well. Even though I left after my junior year, I'm still working on actually finishing up. so that I can get that degree, because you never know, because you don't play baseball for your whole life. I know eventually, hopefully, with 10 plus years under my belt, that's when I can walk away from baseball. But to be able to have, I was a marketing major at Creighton, so to be able to have that marketing degree at a college like Creighton is something huge for me. And it is almost like my backup plan. So if something were to happen with baseball, I'm hoping to have a very long career. But it's also good to have that backup plan where I can go to even after I'm done playing. So, but I never liked looking at a backup plan. I was getting there.
All right, my question right quick. We got to backtrack. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Knowing it must have been tough playing in the MLB, has there ever been a moment like you felt as if you wanted to give up or you couldn't deal with it anymore?
Yeah, so that's where I touched on earlier, the support staff, because there was times where I was very negative, I was very hard on myself, and I was like, why is this happening? Why, kind of that, not really poor me, but why aren't I succeeding? So when I got up to the big leagues, obviously I struggled for a little bit, but I also showed very, very promising things too, and produced for a couple months, and then obviously you go through those cold streaks where in baseball you go through slumps and stuff like that. But that's where the support staff comes in. I'm fortunate enough to have a girlfriend that has been with me for 5.5 years who keeps me in line. I have my family members, my friends that I talk to all the time, and they keep me in check, and they encourage me, and they know that you're playing a game that is tough, and it's only when you get to the big leagues, there's only you're like the 1% of athletes in the world. So I often lose sight of that, but I'm fortunate enough to have that support staff where they believe in me and they think that everything's going to be all right. So it calms me down. And then when I do think of that, I play, either video games or I do something to keep my mind off of baseball. So that's also something I do.
All right, I got a question. All right. So, who was your favorite baseball player when you were growing up, and why?
My favorite baseball player growing up I had two actually. Derek Jeter, because I was a shortstop. I love Derek Jeter. I love that he wore Jordans. I always wore Jordan. I wore his cleats when I was younger. Just loved everything about Derek Jeter. Loved that he won. Loved that he was the captain. Loved that he was such a good leader, and he won all those World Series. So I watch a lot of Derek Jeter, and then I also like Ken Griffey Jr. because of his swing. I was always in the backyard imitating his stance and stuff like that. And if I was only able to hit like him, that would be something. That would be something crazy. But I loved Ken Griffey. I loved Derek Jeter. Who's your favorite?
Oh yeah, I like Ken Griffey too.
He's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
My question was, from when you got drafted to playing in the minors and then getting called up to the MLB, what was your favorite part about that process?
Oh yeah, good question. One of my favorite, there's actually a couple. Being able to play for new coaches was actually really cool. Being able to have different teammates. I've met some of my best friends in the world now through minor league baseball and now in the big leagues too. So being able to play with different teammates, being able to play with new people, getting to know new people has been a blast. And then also visiting new cities. Obviously this year was a little different because when we got into new cities, we just had to stay in our hotel room, which was was a bummer. But being able to go to new cities, being able to, walk around the city, get to see what it's all about. Off days, we're able to, go to get dinner, or go, walk around. This year we couldn't, but that is also a blast. Even in the minor leagues, visiting, different cities was a lot of fun for me.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So you touched on how one of your favorite things was playing under new coaches. So how long does it typically take for you to kind of get used to the new coaching?
Yeah. Not too long, because ultimately it's you're playing. There's only so much that a coach can do. He can he can talk you up and help you and stuff like that, but it's also on your own when you're in the minor leagues and even in the big leagues. It's your career. You got to do the necessary things to benefit from it. But that's where spring training actually helps a lot, because you get to meet all the coaches before you go to your affiliate. And so being able to get familiar with all the coaches and stuff like that before you go actually helps a lot, so that when you do make that jump from whether it's rookie ball to single A or double A, you're kind of familiar with the coach already.
Are you and your teammates, like, are you guys friends, or are you kind of like coworkers? Like, do you guys talk?
Yeah, no. Yeah, great question. We're friends. We are friends. This year is I keep coming back. This year was a little different because we couldn't really do much. We had to stay in our hotel rooms and stuff like that. But usually when we go on the road, or off days and stuff, we spend a lot of time together. We almost look like it is our family. It's our extended family. They want to see you succeed, and you want them to succeed, because ultimately our goal is to win a World Series. And so on off days, or on, when we get into cities, we go to dinner together. We go to lunch together. We go shopping together at malls, stuff like that, go golfing. But obviously this year was a little different, but we don't really see it as colleague or coworkers. We see ourselves as, teammates and friends, and hopefully friends for life. That's what you ultimately want to do, is create some relationships in this game.
Who do you think you're the closest with?
Who am I closest with? I got close with a couple guys this year. Me and Mondesi are actually are close, because we work up the middle together. It's very good to have a good relationship with your shortstop if you're playing second base, and vice versa. I do a lot of my hanging around with Cam Gallagher and O'Hearn and McBroom and Witt and Keller. But obviously there's Duffy, there was Gordo, there was Dozier. I can go on and on. It's good that I'm fortunate enough to be able to be a personable person, and being able to reach out to people, and I'm not some intimidating guy, because obviously I like making new friends, so I like to call all of them my friends, and very close with them. And it's only going to get closer too, because we've only played a year with each other, so we're only going to get closer.
I got another question. I was going to ask you, like, I know you're still young in the league, but like, do you look up to any players in the league?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a funny story. I look up to Albert Pujols, obviously, Miguel Cabrera. Just whenever they get on base, when Miguel Cabrera is on second base, and I'm like looking at him, I'm like, and he says what's up to me, I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm like, that's crazy. Because I was imitating them in my backyard when I was younger, and now I'm playing against them. But it was actually my third game up in the big leagues, or fourth game up in the big leagues. We're in LA playing the Angels, and I get to first base. I got a hit, and I'm on first base, and Albert Pujols is actually playing first base. And in the back of our pockets, we have like our card where we shift like their hitters when we're on defense. And Albert Pujols actually like walks up to first base and steals it out of my back pocket and puts it in his. So I'm like, so he's someone I really look up to. I'm like, wow, like this is cool, but like, how do I ask for this back? So I actually called him. I called him Mr. Pujols, which was just something that I'm like, oh God, why did I say that? But I'm like, I'm gonna need that back, Mr. Pujols. So, but being able to just be there, I have a picture of I'm standing on first base, and he's standing off the base next to me, and he's still taller than me. So it's kind of funny.
Was there any time in the minor league or the lower league where you had self-doubt and you felt like this isn't for me?
Yeah, I mean, the minor leagues is tough because travel, food, the pay, nothing's like, it's not very beneficial, and it's not very, smooth sailing all the time, and it's not, bright, and but it's something that, you have to go through to get to the big leagues. So obviously there's those days where you're slumping, you're in the dog days of the summer in August, July, and you're like, wow, like this is the longest season ever and all this stuff. But you go back to trying to stay positive. I always stayed positive, and then I always looked to the future. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this well, because I want to get to the big leagues, and I want to spend 10 plus years in the big leagues. So if I back out now, I can't reach my dream, and my dream ultimately was to be in the big leagues. So that was never really an option for me. I was never going to settle for anything less. So we just had to work through it.
We had time for 2 more questions.
Perfect.
How do you get like your girlfriend to understand like that you're gonna have to spend like a lot of time like working and like grinding? Like how do you get her to understand that?
You got a girlfriend? Why, you thinking of something?
I'm just saying like girls they don't understand that like you have to grind a lot. So
Yeah, no, I feel that. And I think the biggest thing is that I was fortunate enough to, when I got to Creighton, I met her. She actually played college basketball, so she understood the grind. She understood sports. She understood, what it took to get there, and like the hard work and the dedication and all the time practicing and all this stuff. So obviously, long distance was tough for a little bit, but she understood it, and I think that's something that is very I was very fortunate of, and something that I think people should look for is people who share the same dedication of something, and kind of understand that sports is a grind. And I was fortunate enough to meet her, and she played college basketball, so she understood it for me. So I'm lucky for sure. Good question.
Which pitcher do you hate batting against the most?
What pitcher do I hate batting against the most? That's a tough one, because there's a lot of very good pitchers that make you look silly. But I would say I'll say the hardest pitcher I faced was Patrick Corbin. He plays for the Washington Nationals. He's a lefty. He had my number my rookie year, my first year up. So I guess I don't hate facing pitchers, because every single time I look at it as it's a battle, and it's competing, and it's a way for me to get better, and to kind of test myself against good pitchers. I've gotten starstruck sometimes, like when I'm in spring training, my first spring training, and I was facing Clayton Kershaw, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. Like, this is really cool facing him. But I didn't hate facing him, even though he's got the track record of, obviously probably a Hall of Famer. But I'm like, wow, this is really cool, because I get to test myself, and I get to assess myself, like, all right, where am I at against someone who's been playing for 10 plus years?
Hold on, can I ask one more question?
Yeah, go ahead, Quincy.
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Woo. Hopefully still playing. I'm 25 years old. I just turned 25 in March, so I'm 25. That gets me to 35. I want to keep playing. I want to hopefully still play, but I see myself still being in baseball, whether I'm fortunate enough to keep playing, or I'm somewhere involved in baseball. But I see myself, obviously having a family, having a nice house and starting a family and stuff like that. Hopefully it's in Kansas City. And I don't see myself playing for any other organization. So that's where I see myself. I want to keep playing as long as I can, as long as my body will allow me. But I'm only 25, so thinking of 10 years down the road is kind of scary. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I'm gonna be in the league.
You're gonna be in the league?
Yeah.
Good. I'll be playing alongside you then.
Well, Nicky, we certainly definitely appreciate your time. Want to congratulate you on being a finalist for the Golden Glove, and wish you the best of luck in the upcoming season. Know you putting in the work and working hard, but this definitely means a whole lot to us. Definitely someone the kids can relate to and energize, especially when they can't get out as much as they want. And this is a good way for them to still do some baseball while we're trapped in the house. So we can't thank you enough, and we greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate you too, Miss Betty. And man, this is awesome.
No, thank you, and it's my honor to talk to you guys. And like I said earlier, hopefully in 2021 we can link up and talk to each other in person, and I get you guys out at Kauffman Stadium. But in the meantime, this is the best we can do. But I'm here for you guys. If you guys ever need anything, you guys can find my number from either Betty, your coach, or anything, and then find me on Instagram, Twitter. But I'm here for you guys, whatever you guys want, whatever you guys need, any questions you have that you weren't able to ask today. I'm here for you guys. But we'll hopefully do this again soon, and then hopefully we can do this again in person as well.
Sounds like a plan. We greatly appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Take care. Be safe.
Thank you.
You guys. See you, Betty.